Hey, so my family and I just got back from a trip to Disney World. Well, not all of my family. We only took our favorite kids, so don't tell the ones that didn't get to go. I was shocked at something I didn't see on our flights to Orlando. Hey, so I'm right here in the Orlando airport, and we flew from Salt Lake to LA to Orlando. And guess what I didn't see? Not one of. I didn't see a single service dog, not one. Compare that to the last time I was on an airplane, and I walked through the Denver airport, and it seemed like every 10th person had some dog with them that said emotional therapy, emotional support, or therapy dog. Towards the end of 2020, Department of Transportation was getting all kinds of complaints about emotional support animals and the rapidly increasing number of these animals on planes. And it's not just the fact that people were complaining. There were some pretty serious issues with the animals as well that they had to deal with them. So let's back up a little bit, and I'll tell you kind of the history to ESA animals or emotional support animals on planes, and then we'll talk about the reasons why they took them off. And then I really want to know what your thoughts are. You know, are you in favor of this? Have you had a bad experience with an untrained emotional support animal on planes? I'm one that, look, if the animal is well trained and there's a specific purpose that helps that person, then I'm all for it. But, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to the reasons in a minute. So in 2008, the Department of Transportation, along with the airlines, kind of broadened their definition of service animals and included in that new definition emotional support animals. Now, the difference between emotional support animal and a service animal it's difficult to define, but the clearest definition, a service animal is a dog that has been trained to perform a specific function for an individual that, because of their disability, they're unable to perform themselves. So the easiest and clearest example of that would be a seeing eye dog. A person that's blind, this dog has been trained to do that function, the function of seeing. So now an emotional support animal, they're a little bit more difficult to define. There is no specific training for an ESA animal. This is an animal that their presence serves to calm or keep someone calm that might experience anxiety while flying. Now, it's not limited to anxiety. There's any number of reasons why someone might have an emotional support animal. But in 2008, they decided to broaden that definition and allow emotional support animals into the cabin without cages. Then in 2009, airlines across the board jacked up their prices for what it costs to put your dog in underneath in a crate. And I don't know if anybody could have foreseen this happening, but all of a sudden there was a dramatic increase in the number of people who had flown before without an emotional support animal, but now all of a sudden are experiencing anxiety. I know I seem a little cynical, but when you look at the numbers, it was really quite incredible. In fact, from 2016 to 2019, in just 3 years, the number of people flying with emotional support animals more than doubled. And I just don't know that there's emotional. I don't know that there's mental illness data to show that the number of people in our country are doubling. Now, maybe I could be wrong, but it just seems like it doesn't line up. And it does seem like I totally believe that there are people who would try and take advantage of this more lenient law, and it turns out that's exactly what they found. As they started looking into some issues they were having, they were finding a lot of fraudulent claims of emotional support animals. So here's what was happening. People were buying emotional support animal vests. You can get them on Amazon. They don't require any special training at all. You can also print emotional support animal certificates off of Google. So that's what people were doing. And then what they were doing is they were saving $150 to $200 on the plane ticket for their animals so that they could go visit, somebody down in Mesa, Arizona, where it's warm. Now, let me talk about some of the issues that they were having. Number one, they were having a real issue with flight attendants getting bit. They were having a problem with dogs urinating and defecating in the cabin. They're having a real problem with nuisance barking, dogs just barking, barking, barking. I mean, think about it. If you think a child crying is difficult to deal with on a 4-hour flight, think about if the person sitting next to you has got a little yappy dog in their lap that just won't shut up. I mean, I don't know how many miles you go without asking, you know, if you can take the dog back to the bathroom and flush it out the toilet. It gets really, it can really wear on your nerves. Now all of a sudden you need an emotional support animal. So with all of those things, the other one that was really creating a problem is that for individuals with service animals, so for example, somebody with a seeing eye dog, or somebody with one of these animals that, you know, they've spent $20,000 to $30,000 to $40,000 to get this dog trained, when they would bring that dog onto the plane, you then have an untrained emotional support animal that starts barking or even gets more aggressive and physically tries to attack a service animal, and you can imagine the kinds of problems that was having. So 2020, the Department of Transportation goes back and adjusts their definition. Moving forward, Delta, United, American, they all made this change back in January. Southwest made their change on March 1st. Moving forward, the only animals that are allowed in the cabin and cage-free are service animals and those are only dogs. Now, there are miniature ponies. I know, as silly as this sounds, there are miniature ponies that they can actually train to do some of these services as well. There's some reasons for that, and that's probably for another video. But unfortunately, because of the impracticality of having a mini horse in the cabin, the Department of Transportation has limited this to dogs only. So from now on, whenever you go get on your plane, you're only going to the only dogs you see will be legitimate, licensed service dogs. And now for those of you with service animals, service dogs, it is going to require a little more paperwork than you're used to. But if you're one of those who have had a bad experience, you probably won't mind filling out the extra paperwork and showing your licenses and the training certificates that your dog has received that qualify them for that little perk on flying with these different airlines. So thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful. If you're curious about why you're not seeing as many dogs on, or if you were wondering if you could take your dog on the plane. The reality is if you're wondering if you can take them on, you probably can't. So thanks for joining. If you've noticed that I haven't been doing a lot with my dogs lately, I haven't done a lot with Odin or Lady, that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm on crutches. Had knee surgery about 5 weeks ago. And so, you know, being out and working with dogs on crutches when you following a knee surgery, not the easiest thing to do, but I'm gonna be back to that pretty quick. So keep watching as we'll get out and show you some of the things that we're doing with Odin to get him ready for an upcoming hunting season, as well as some of the things that we're doing just to maintain their good behavior. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I will see you in the next video.